Dear students, I have come with the third module, that is preparation of profit and loss account. In this module, I will explain which all items to be taken to profit and loss account. So it will be helpful for you when we have to do the problems. So if I'll give you the introduction, we know that profit and loss account is a continuation of trading account. And first thing you have to remember, the gross profit or gross loss is transferred from trading account to profit and loss account. Now, trading account, I have explained that you are treating the direct expenses in the trading account. Now, in the profit and loss account, you have to remember that all indirect expenses of the current year are debited to profit and loss account. We will see in a separate slide which all the items to be debited, which all the items to be credited. Similarly, indirect incomes of the current year are credited to profit and loss account. Now, see, we have seen the gross profit or gross loss as the difference between credit side and debit side of the trading account. Similarly, the difference between the debit side and credit side of the profit and loss account will be net profit or net loss. Now, see the difference between the debit side and credit side. So that you have to remember, that will be the net profit or the net loss. So now what will be the treatment for net profit or net loss? So net profit is added to capital and net loss is subtracted from capital. This I will explain when we will do the balance sheet. Now we will see which all items to be debited to profit and loss account. This distinction is very important because if it's a revenue expenditure, direct expenditure, it will go to trading account. If it's an indirect expenditure, it will go to profit and loss account. So first item is salaries. Salaries, you know that salaries we are paying for the employees. Second item you have to remember, wages and salaries. So wages and salaries is an important item. We know that if only wages is there, it's a direct expenditure, it will be treated in the trading account. If it is wages and salaries, that meaning salaries paid to employees plus casual wages paid to casual laborers. So wages and salaries will come to profit and loss account. Similarly, if salaries alone, then also it will be debited to profit and loss account. Rent and taxes. If the business is carried out on a rented building, you have to pay the rent. Taxes is the municipal tax, property tax what you have to pay. These are indirect expenses, it will be debited to profit and loss account. Next is insurance. We have property insurance to protect the property from fire, theft, burglary or all that. So that is the insurance. Next is office lighting. So office lighting is, you have to remember that electricity charges what we are paying. So that is the office lighting. Printing and stationery. You have to prepare pamphlets, you have to prepare bill book, you have to prepare vouchers. All this will come in the printing and stationery. Stationery meaning buying the stationery items like stapler, pen, pencil, what all required for the business. That will be different from business to business. So these are all minor expenses. So we are clubbing and putting it as one head. Office heating. Office heating, you have to remember that it is different from factory heating and lighting. Factory heating and lighting, it is a direct expenditure. It will go to trading account. See, if it's in a poultry farm, factory heating is required. So that will go to trading account. Office heating is different. So that is an indirect expenditure. If it's a winter season, see North India and all winter season, they have to provide office heating. That is an indirect expenditure. So that will debit to profit and loss account. Repairs and renewals. Sometimes repairs and renewals for the building. Sometimes repairs and renewals for vehicle, factory building, all that. This will be repairs and renewals. It will be debited to profit and loss account. Next is carriage or freight outwards or carriage outwards. See, some when you are incurring, bringing material to the factory, that is carriage inwards. That item we are taking it in the trading account. Here it is carriage outwards. This you are incurring for selling the item, selling to the business unit. So that is carriage outwards. That is an indirect expenditure. It will be debited to profit and loss account. Bad debts. Debts which are irrecoverable from the debtors. That is bad debts. It is an indirect expenditure. Commission paid. Commission paid for other business. See, if you are taking a building on rent, you have to pay 30%, 2% or 5% commission for the broker. So any commission you have paid. Advertising expenditure is an indirect expenditure. But we have learned that if advertising expenditure, if the benefit you are going to get for more then 1 year it will be considered as deferred revenue expenditure and it will be written off in a number of years. Next is samples. Free samples distributed. This is required for sales promotion. So it is an indirect expenditure. Trade expenses. Other term used is sundry expenses. The total expenses. Small expenses you will classify as one group and you will debit to profit and loss account. It will be the refreshment charges, treating a guest, official guest. All this can be trade expenses. Discount allowed. See, discount allowed is when the debtors are paying in advance. You have to pay discount. You have to give discount. Discount for prompt and early payment. So that is the discount allowed to debtors. That is an indirect expenditure. Interest paid. It may be bank interest for the loan or any loan you have borrowed. You are paying the interest. These items are debited to profit and loss account. Similarly, traveling expenses. This is required for the administration, the administrative staff, similarly for the marketing people. Similarly, audit fees. Audit fees is required. We know that we have to file the tax returns at the end of the financial year. So audit fees is required to be paid to the chartered accountant. So that is an indirect expenditure. Legal expenses. Imagine the firm incurring some expenses in terms of any violation of rule, any legal dispute. So you have to appoint a lawyer and you have to pay his legal fees. Bank charges. Bank will charge for SMS, that ATM facility, checkbook, and whatever withdrawal you are doing, all these bank charges. Similarly, loss by theft. Loss by theft also you have to debit to profit and loss account because it's an indirect expenditure. Loss by theft by outsiders or by employees. So that can be debited to, these are the items debited to profit and loss account. Now we will see what are the items credited to profit and loss account. Commission receipt. See, when any activity, see one business unit, they will have a main activity. That is what they are established. See, for a bank, their main activity is banking activity. But they will be doing so many other services. That is, they will be doing factoring services. Factoring service, you know that they are helping the business firms in collecting their debtors. They will get commission for that. So then they will sell insurance products. They will get commission from insurance companies. So this is item indirect because it's not related to the main business activity. It's subsidiary activity. That meaning it will be credited to profit and loss account. Similarly, dividend received for their investments. It can be bank, it can be investments in the stock market, investments in government securities, in other companies, shares they have invested. They will get dividend that is credited to profit and loss account. Rent received. If they have a building to let out, they will get rent for that. It will be credited to profit and loss account. Interest received for bank deposits. Fixed deposit. If you have a fixed deposit, they will be getting bank interest. So that will be credited to profit and loss account. Discount received. See, when you are making prompt payment to your debtors, that meaning when you're making your credit payment early in advance than what is expected, then you will get discount. So this also will be credited to profit and loss account. So this is what I want to explain in this module. Thank you.